Once upon a time, deep in a magical land, there was a place called the Rainbow Forest. It wasn't just any forest. Here, the leaves shimmered with every color you can imagine, the rivers flowed with sparkling lemonade, and the flowers sang sweet melodies all day long. In this wonderful forest lived all sorts of happy animals. The biggest and strongest of them all was Max, a magnificent lion with a golden mane that shone like the sun. Max was very proud of his strength. He could roar louder than thunder and shake the ground with a single stomp of his mighty paw. All the smaller animals admired Max, but they were also a little scared of him. When he walked by, they would scurry away and hide. Max liked this. It made him feel important and powerful, one of the tiniest animals in the whole forest was Mimi, a little mouse with soft gray fur and big, curious eyes. Mimi was not like the other small animals. She wasn't afraid of Max. She often watched him from a distance, wishing he would be a little friendlier. She knew that true strength wasn't just about being big and loud. One sunny afternoon, the sky suddenly turned a dark, angry gray. The singing flowers went quiet and the sparkling rivers stopped their cheerful bubbling. A great storm was coming. The wind howled through the colorful trees, and rain began to fall in heavy, pounding sheets. All the animals ran for cover, huddling in their burrows and nests. The storm raged for hours, fiercer than any the forest had ever seen. Thunder boomed and lightning flashed, lighting up the sky in frightening patterns. When the storm finally passed, the sun peeked out from behind the clouds. But the rainbow forest was a mess. Colorful leaves were scattered everywhere, the lemonade rivers were muddy, and many beautiful trees had been knocked over. It was a very sad sight. Max the lion stepped out of his cave, shaking his wet mane. He looked around at the damage and felt a pang of sadness for his beautiful home. He decided to go for a walk to see how everyone was doing. As he was padding through a thick part of the forest, he didn't see a huge, ancient rainbow tree that had been weakened by the storm. With a loud creak and a groan, the giant tree began to fall. Max tried to leap out of the way, but he wasn't fast enough. The massive trunk crashed down, pinning one of his powerful legs underneath it. He was trapped. Max let out a mighty roar, but this time it wasn't a roar of pride. It was a roar of pain and fear. He pushed and pulled with all his strength, but the tree was too heavy. He couldn't move it an inch. He roared again and again, hoping someone would hear him and come to help. But his roars only echoed through the broken forest. The other animals were still hiding, too scared to come out. After a while, Max started to lose hope. His powerful leg was hurting, and he was getting very tired. Just as he was about to give up, he heard a tiny squeak. "Hello? Is someone there?" He looked down and saw little Mimi the mouse, standing right by his nose. "Go away, little mouse," Max grumbled. "What can you possibly do? I am the strongest in the forest, and even I can't move this tree." Mimi didn't run away. She looked at the huge tree and then back at Max's trapped leg with her big, kind eyes. "Maybe I can't move the whole tree," she said in her small voice, "but maybe I can help in a different way." Before Max could say another word, Mimi scurried over to the part of the trunk that was pinning his paw. She started to nibble at the wood with her tiny, sharp teeth. Nibble, nibble, nibble. Max watched in disbelief. What was this little mouse thinking? It would take her forever. But Mimi didn't stop. She nibbled and gnawed, chewed and chipped away at the wood, bit by bit. She worked tirelessly, her little jaws moving as fast as they could. Hours passed. The sun started to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. Mimi was getting very tired, but she didn't give up. She saw the pain in Max's eyes and knew she had to keep going. Slowly but surely, the wood around Max's paw began to soften and break apart. Finally, with one last, determined nibble, Mimi made a big enough space. Max felt the pressure on his leg ease. He gave a mighty heave, pulled his paw free, and stood up, shaking from exhaustion. He was free. He looked down at the exhausted little mouse, who was panting on the ground, surrounded by a pile of wood shavings. For the first time, Max felt something he had never felt before: gratitude. This tiny creature, whom he had looked down on, had saved him. "Thank you, Mimi," Max said, his voice soft and full of emotion. "You saved me. I was wrong. You are much stronger than I ever was." Mimi just smiled, her little whiskers twitching. "We are all strong in different ways, Max," she squeaked. From that day on, Max was a changed lion. He realized that true strength wasn't about being the biggest or the loudest. It was about being kind and helping others. But their work wasn't over. The forest was still in a terrible state. Many animals were trapped, their homes were destroyed, and they were scared. Max knew what he had to do. With Mimi perched proudly on his shoulder, they set off to help. Max used his great strength to lift fallen branches and clear paths. He gently moved logs that had blocked the entrances to burrows, freeing rabbits and badgers. He used his mighty roar not to scare anyone, but to call out and find animals who were lost. Mimi, with her small size, could squeeze into tiny spaces that Max couldn't reach. She scurried through narrow tunnels to check on families of field mice, and she climbed up wobbly branches to comfort scared birds in their nests. She would then report back to Max, telling him where help was needed most. Together, they were an amazing team. The big, strong lion and the small, clever mouse. The other animals saw what they were doing. Inspired by their teamwork, they came out of hiding and started to help too. The squirrels gathered fallen nuts and berries for everyone to eat. The beavers started repairing the riverbanks. The birds flew around, carrying seeds to plant new trees. Soon, the entire forest was working together. There was no more fear, only a sense of community and friendship. They rebuilt homes, cleared pathways, and cared for anyone who was hurt. It was hard work, but with everyone helping. The rainbow forest slowly began to heal. Days turned into weeks. New, colorful leaves began to sprout on the trees. The rivers started to sparkle again, and the flowers, seeing so much kindness all around them, began to sing their sweet songs once more. The rainbow forest was becoming even more beautiful than it was before the storm, because now it was filled not just with color, but with love and friendship. Max the lion was no longer just the strongest animal in the forest. He was the kindest. He often gave the smaller animals rides on his back, and his roars were now happy roars that made everyone smile. And Mimi the mouse was no longer just a tiny creature. She was a hero. She taught everyone that no matter how small you are, you can make a huge difference with a brave and caring heart. And so, Max and Mimi remained the best of friends, always reminding everyone in the rainbow forest of a very important lesson: being strong is good. But being kind is even better, and that kindness, no matter how small, always has a way of coming back to you. Thanks for watching our story today. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more amazing adventures. See you next time.